Lorenzini Arcade is easily one of the most oppressive levels in Lies of P. Even though this 25-minute level only has one Stargazer, the 5 shortcut doors do a lot to bring down the difficulty. The Stargazer sits at a crossroads. Aside from the way we came in, there are only 2 paths left to take. Only one of them is the main route. The other is pretty short and mainly exists to support progression on the main path. Let's grab the key first. The beam of light on the right tells players there's a shortcut door here. An elite enemy suddenly drops in at the end of the hallway. The game intentionally makes you fight this long-range elite in a narrow corridor. If 2 or more small enemies jumped out from both sides here, this would have easily become a high difficulty encounter. After dealing with the fight, we enter the side room for loot and find 2 regular enemies inside. Luckily, they don't aggro together with elite at the entrance. We keep moving forward and grab the key. That wraps up this branch, so let's check out the other path. A slow enemy acts as bait, and once you get close, basic enemies rush out from both sides. Since the bait enemy is slow, the threat level is pretty low, but it does a great job building tension. At the end of the hallway, there's a filler enemy, and then we open the door. A pickup at the end of this corridor hints that there's a path leading there. A basic enemy in front of the gap grabs the player's attention, while another enemy comes from the side to flank you. Through this gap, you can spot the ranged enemy below, which also gives players an early look at the area's 3-level structure. Heading down to B1, you're forced to fight those grab enemies while dealing with corruption traps. It feels completely different from the section upstairs. Add some environmental pressure, and suddenly the same enemy feels totally different. Continuing forward, one path is blocked by objects, but it clearly hints that there's an area to explore over there. A blue pickup on the main route encourages players to head over and take out the ranged enemy. Move a little farther and a dimensional butterfly appears, leading you into a small room with 3 puppets. Putting puppets here feels a bit random, probably just to add some variety to the basic enemies. After the fight, we head upstairs and battle an enhanced puppet. You can really tell the arcade has both high encounter frequency and high combat intensity. That's the most direct source of this area's oppressive atmosphere. We finally pick up the item we spotted earlier, completing the exploration loop. From here, you can jump straight down into the wine cellar. Right after dealing with the enhanced puppet, you are immediately thrown into a proper elite fight. Environmentally, it feels similar to Malum District. There it was rainwater, while here it's pools of wine. Personally, I never felt like water this shallow affected movement. I didn't notice any obvious slowdown. Following the yellow light leads us into another room. Drawn in by the enemy at the entrance, we deal with it and arrive at the arcade's second major area, the basement level. The door on the left needs a key, so we head the other way. The pickup here loops back to that blocked path we first saw in B1, and across from it is a shortcut door covered in corruption mist. Continuing upward, we reach the hardest part of the arcade, 2 brand new elite enemies. Just look at those muscles. They're intimidating enough already, and now there are 2 of them. Thankfully, these minotaurs attack slowly and don't have many moves. You can kite them around, but the room for mistakes is small, so patience is key. 2 new elite enemies alone would already be hard enough. On top of that, we've fought an enhanced puppet, an elite, and plenty of regular enemies since leaving the Stargazer, so supplies are getting low. With resources running out and no clue how far the next Stargazer is, the pressure naturally starts to build. And look, I'm still carrying over 6,000 air gold. That's enough for a level up right there. To save my souls, I threw everything I had and somehow made it through safely. After that, the fights become much easier. Reaching the courtyard gives us 2 shortcut doors, one of which goes straight back to the Stargazer. The other one leads back to the double Minotaur area, letting players quickly return to B1. Putting the NPC near that shortcut and giving you the key there further emphasizes this. We head back to B1 and unlock the door. After taking out the throwing enemy that hinted at more exploration, we find 2 paths ahead. Let's check out the side without the corruption mist first. A classic 2 enemy setup to spice up the pacing. The stairs on the left unlock a shortcut back to the Stargazer. The right side leads to the tavern tied to a side quest. The shortcut here reduces the punishment if players die to the tavern elite. The Dual Axe Clown is actually pretty manageable. Its attacks are easy to read and fairly simple to block. During the fight, those basic enemies can even draw aggro from the clown, which lowers the difficulty a bit. This area is wide open, and there are pillars in the middle to kite around. One of the clown's moves can pull you right into melee range, which really caught me off guard. It's a surprisingly well-designed elite. Once the fight is over, the door behind it opens. Keep heading upward, and after one easier encounter, you'll reach the end of the arcade. Open the shortcut, and with that, the first floor of the arcade is fully explored. But there's still one branch we haven't explored yet, the corruption-filled section of B1. Let's head back from the tavern and explore in the opposite direction. Because of the corruption mist, players are encouraged to end fights quickly, so the enemies along this corridor aren't too threatening. Throwing a dimensional butterfly into this situation forces players to quickly choose between chasing it and dealing with the enemies. Clearing spores while exploring, I even managed to avoid taking damage. But the fight in front of this chest really cranks the pressure up to 11. You're low on resources, surrounded by corruption spores, and then they throw in this aggressive elite on top of it all. Honestly, this is where I died on my first playthrough. Luckily, I've learned to make use of items now, and the fire bottle shaved off a good chunk of its health. After the fight, we unlock the shortcut through the corridor behind it, which wraps up the entire area. This shortcut exists purely to get players back to the start faster. Personally, I just put some crates here and add a board on the other side so players could cross over. From a top-down perspective, the arcade is divided into upper and lower halves. You first explore the lower section from left to right. Then you descend into B1 on the right and enter the upper half of the arcade. Reaching the merchant marks the end point. After getting the key, you continue exploring the upper half's basement level. The lower basement and upper arcade act as connectors between the 3 exploration zones. I actually enjoyed this area while playing, but after breaking it down, I felt like there were just too many doors and things got a little messy. Since key doors are closely tied to progression, I think they work well when used to unlock a large area. So, if it were my turn, I'd remove both key doors and replace the initial key objective with a shortcut. I'd also get rid of this central T-junction. This way, after beating the 2 Minotaurs, players can unlock a shortcut back to the Stargazer, making the T-junction unnecessary. I'd move the staircase leading back to the first floor Stargazer near the tavern entrance so it's closer to the center of the level. Once the basement key door is removed, this shortcut staircase becomes the main hub. From there, players can head upstairs and explore the double Minotaur area, or go back down and explore the original corruption section. Or simply turn left and head into the tavern. I'd move the NPC to the shortcut near the end and use it purely as a merchant. This cuts out 2 key doors and 3 shortcut doors, making the overall structure much cleaner and more straightforward. Alright, that's just my personal take. Feel free to share your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.